hakikisha umekunywa maziwa. Sawa? Kuna nini hapa?
Good afternoon. Welcome to Lunchtime News. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mora. Well, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up this afternoon. And to kick us off, we shall be taking a look at matters education. But before we kick off, remember you can interact with us on our social media handle at KBC Channel 1. Now, let's kick off the broadcast. The Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examinations entered day 3 on Wednesday with over 900,000 candidates sitting for the exams countrywide. Authorities in Homa Bay County have implemented strict security measures to prevent a recurrence of exam malpractice.
According to the KCSE examination timetable released by Kenya National Examination Council, candidates are scheduled to sit for Chemistry Paper 2 in the morning, to be followed by English Paper 3 during afternoon hours. In Homa Bay County, authorities have put in place stringent security measures to prevent exam cheating incidences. Homa Bay County Commissioner Moses Leland said they have heightened vigilance, emphasizing the necessity of upholding academic integrity.
We want to ask all our examinations officials, be they the center managers, the invigilators, and the security officers, their topmost priority is to guarantee the integrity of the exams. They should put in their very best to ensure that no shortcuts are taken, no monkey business are condoned within the centers. And arising from that incident, we have put in extra measures just to ensure nothing of a similar incident will occur again.
Homa Bay County Teachers Service Commission Director Milton Oyugi said they are actively working to reinforce examination protocols across all schools to ensure fairness and maintain the credibility of the educational system.
We've replaced the center manager. We've also replaced the supervisor and all the invigilators who are suspected to have been involved in that incident. So the center is secured and exams are running on smoothly.
Joseph Wahungu for Lunchtime News.
Youths across the country have been urged to advocate for their rights and engage with policies affecting society in a more meaningful, respectful and constructive manner in a bid to foster peace and harmony in the country. Now, speaking during a peace workshop organized by the Nyali Fellowship Church in partnership with the non-profit organization Arigato International, Reverend Maria Kipruto underscored the importance of intergenerational dialogue as a means to resolve differences and promote understanding to avoid actions that could lead to chaos.
Workshop organized by Nyali Fellowship Church in partnership with the non-profit organization Arigato International has brought together youth leaders, religious leaders and members of security agencies to discuss pressing societal issues and explore ways to foster peaceful coexistence.
We are willing to listen to you. We are willing to support you as you advocate for your rights, as you advocate for the policies that have been put in the society or been put by the government in a more engaging and meaningful way, respectfully, so that we can be able to move this country with peace and unity.
Jana ni kwamba wao wawe wanashauri mambo yao, wasiamke tu siku moja na kutaka kufanya jambo wakafanya, wakae na wadau wao wakubwa wao.
She further called on the young people to exhibit tolerance and discipline despite the socio-economic challenges currently facing the society.
There are challenges that we are going through in the society because of the socio-economic issues, but we ask of you that we may be peaceful, that we may be disciplined, and that we can be able to go and visit the religious places and enjoy praying together, so that we can be able to live at peace amongst each other.
The youth expressed their gratitude for the forum, vowing to spread the knowledge and values gained from the workshop to their peers in their respective communities.
Immediately after this forum, I am planning to go back and teach my fellow youth about what we've learned here. We've also talked about social cohesion, basically coming together as a community. This is something that I want to go back and implement in my community, see how we can bring together the youth, bring together the older generation, our parents, bring together the young ones, the children as well, see how we can promote peace together, because we do not want a situation where we are having a conflict between different generations, basically.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Abdulaziz Abeid.
Still on education matters, a section of parents and leaders in Tana Delta is calling for the re-evaluation of the competence-based curriculum education program, claiming that it is financially straining rural families in the area. The locals claim that many schools in the area were struggling to implement the KBC system of education due to lack of enough infrastructure for junior secondary schools and inadequate personnel, compelling them to be dependent on projects funded by the National Government Constituency Development Fund.
Used into the system in some years back, because those learners that we are dealing with them, where we are moving to grade 7, who are called junior, they are too young.
Watu wenye wako mashambani, wengi hawana makazi na mahitaji ya hela ni mingi, na saa zingine watoto wanatumwa waende wachukue vyakula waje wapike. Hiyo ni experiment wanasema. Kama serikali wangewaletea hizo vitu,
serikali iongeze pesa, Ministry of Education iongeze bajeti, sisi tuhakikishe kwamba imepatikana mambo ya laboratory, mambo ya classrooms ya kutosha, pamoja na pia walimu wa kutosha, kwa sababu hakuna walimu wa kutosha.
In other news, hundreds of residents living along the banks of Malakisi and Komirai rivers in Teso South sub-county in Busia County are grappling with huge losses after severe floods swept away property and crops of unknown value. Following the Tuesday evening downpour, residents are concerned about their safety and are urgently appealing to the government to relocate them to higher grounds. They also want authorities to provide long-term solutions to the perennial flooding in the region.
Kama serikali angetusaidia na fidia ya pesa tupate mahali penye imekuwa raised, ili pia nasi tujenge manyumba, ingekuwa afadhali, kwa sababu saa hii kikao yetu hapa hata tulete mtu anunue, watu wanaogopa kwa sababu ni shamba yenye haina faida. Yaani waondoke waende mahali penye pameinuka ili wajenge manyumba zao.
Sasa hakuna mahali popote ambapo tumeweza kuhamia, ila tumejaribu kuokoa malazi na mifugo, lakini bado tumeambulia patupu, kwa sababu utaanza kuhama na wapi ukielekea wapi.
Residents of Borabu, Nyamira County want the government through relevant agencies to curb road carnage in the region. The irate residents are threatening to barricade a section of Keroka Kijauri Road if the Kenya National Highways Authority does not take necessary steps to stem the vice.
The recent death of a couple and a pedestrian has reignited calls on the need to bring back sanity to the roads in Nyamira County. Residents held prayers at the scene of the latest accident, interceding on behalf of the victims and calling for remedy.
8 small kids bwana DCC waligongwa hapa Gesebei because there is no signage, but I'm happy watu ya Kenya wamekuja wamesema by Friday signage zimeanza kuja.
The residents want the Kenya National Highways Authority to double down on reckless driving and make the routes safer for all. Area leaders allege that the proposed expansion of the Kiroka-Kijauri Road has been hindered by the presence of a tea buying center in the area.
Sasa kwa kauli moja, nataka tuulizane. Hii tea buying center iko town katikati. Tuihamishe ama tuiwache hapo? Wangapi wanasema tuihamishe? But that land does not belong to them. This is government land. So kazi ni kwangu kukaa na madirectors, hii kitu tutoe hapa, county ijengee hawa kule ndani.
The leaders said they will petition the county government to install streetlights in Kijauri Township to curb incidents of crime.
Tunakuomba Governor wa Nyamira, tafadhali. Giza ambaye uko Kijauri ndio inachangia mambo ya insecurity. Tafadhali tusaidie na mataa. Zamani kulikuwa na mataa, nakumbuka kulikuwa na taa moja kubwa pale. Tafadhali tusaidie.
The Malindi Environment and Land Court has stopped an ongoing construction of a high-rise building at Kasarina Beach in Malindi Town, Kilifi County. Justice Mwangi Njoroge certified an application by Rita Valentini, who is suing Shadia Munini Fard, the County Government of Kilifi, the National Environment Management Authority and the Attorney General for flouting construction rules of the area. Shadia was accused of placing a residential building of 4 floors whilst the Kilifi County Government and NEMA approved and issued a license for the construction without following due process.
The directions on the preliminary objection shall stand since the Constitution and Section 3 of the Environmental Management and Coordination Act provides for the application of the precautionary principle in the environmental sector. This court is of the view that in order to safeguard the environmental aspects within the area surrounding the suit property being developed from any further change, some orders of this court are necessary.
And the Embu County Government will from January next year initiate a school feeding program targeting all early childhood development education learners. Now, according to Governor Cecily Mbarire, the initiative aims to enhance retention levels for learners in schools and boost their concentration to improve their performance.
God willing, kutoka January tutaanza kupatiana uji katika shule zetu, na itakuwa just the beginning of a long journey of making sure we do feeding in all our schools in Embu County. I'm hoping next year or in another 1 year we'll escalate from porridge to a full lunch for our children, ndio waweze kuja shule bila shida yoyote, and they can get nutritious food for their health and their growth.
And I cross over to Homa Bay, where the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation is having a town hall meeting at the Homa Bay County Governor's Park to sensitize residents of Homa Bay on its mandate. The corporation mandate is to provide deposit insurance to customers of member banks and to receive, liquidate and wind up troubled banks. Yusuf Farah joins us now from Homa Bay County with more details.
We have come to the end of our inaugural town hall meeting, Homa Bay edition. May I take a moment to express my profound gratitude to each one of you for joining us. Your participation in this forum is a testament to your commitment to understanding the critical role of KDIC in safeguarding your financial interests. I hope that our ongoing efforts in deposit insurance and the resolution process concerning these failed institutions is going to give you a greater understanding about the institutions. Your questions and contributions have highlighted the importance of transparency and community engagement. I truly appreciate your openness in sharing your thoughts with us. In this regard, may I affirm that our mission goes beyond merely protecting deposits. It is about building trust and confidence in our financial system. That's why we are committed to deepening our engagement with you, our stakeholders, to ensure that you have the information and the support you need, even as you make critical decisions about your finances and how to bank it. On behalf of the leadership of the corporation, I commit to that the insights that we've gathered from this meeting will enhance our services and communication strategies as we go forward. Please contact us in case yourselves, relatives, friends, or even your next of kin have deposits with any of the failed banks that I've just listed and has never been paid his or her hard-earned money. On the other hand, for those who have borrowed loans and have never paid, please engage us for an amicable repayment plan so that you'll be able to enable the money to be paid to the depositors. For instance, we have over 200 title deeds for the BT Finance Limited, which is with us, and most of them are within this region, and which is among the 19 failed institutions that we would be very glad to release to them to their respective owners. In closing, I assure you that KDIC is dedicated to being proactive, being a proactive partner in your financial journey. We will continue to engage with communities across Kenya, even as we invite you to reach out to us anytime with your questions, concerns, or suggestions beyond this forum. Thank you once again for your time, your trust, and your engagement. Together, we can ensure a more secure financial future for all Kenyans. Erokamano, Homa Bay. Oriti.
Thank you so much, Madam CEO. Do we call?
Well, that is KDIC CEO Helen Chepkwony, who is currently in Homa Bay, whereby KDIC is holding a town hall to sensitize Homa Bay residents on its mandate. Well, our reporter Yusufara is following up and will be submitting a more detailed report in our subsequent bulletin. For now, we move on. Nzoia County government has received a major boost in the provision of healthcare services following a donation of medical equipment worth 100 million shillings from a German-based pharmaceutical company. Speaking while receiving the medical equipment, Governor George Natembeya said the equipment will enhance provision of quality healthcare services and increase access to treatment of specialized services such as dialysis. Additionally, the governor says medical staff will undergo specialized training to ensure effective utilization of the machines.
Tukaweza kununua vitanda 10 na viti, alafu kuna ile inaitwa water treatment plant ambayo sehemu hii hakuna nyingine, na ile mixer pia katika pande hii ya Kenya pande pia ipo. Hospitali zingine zitakuwa zinakuja kutumia hii mixer yetu. Kwa jumla hizi equipment ambazo tumepata leo zimegharimu karibu pesa taslimu shilingi milioni 100. Ile ambayo sisi kama kaunti hata hatungeweza, si ndio? Kwa hivyo ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii kumshukuru Timothy na marafiki zake kwa kuitikia mwito wetu na kubali kusaidia kaunti ya Trans Nzoia.
Still on health matters, Meru National Polytechnic has called for collaborative efforts to tackle mental health challenges and substance abuse among youth, particularly students, citing economic hardships as a driving factor. Speaking during a students' fair at Meru National Polytechnic, Chief Principal Mutembe Kigige emphasized that financial strains are pushing young people towards drugs and risky behavior. He urged parents and the community to support students and offer guidance.
Much of the mental health issues in our youth is contributed by the same factors really we have had a conversation about. Things to do with relationships, things to do with drug and substance abuse, things to do with shortages of money and the support.
Realize that we need to bring this program to them. Tell them that there is hope. Tell them that even if they are struggling, they are feeling pained, they are feeling like giving up, there is an option to them, because freedom to acknowledge their brokenness is the beginning of their healing, is the beginning of recovery.
The county government of Embu has allocated market stalls to over 1,000 traders in Githurai 45 market in Ruiru. Speaking during the opening of the facility, Susan Gatweri, the county executive committee member for trade, said more funds have been allocated to construct the second phase of the market, which would accommodate more traders. The chief officer in charge of trade, Simon Kiberege, said the market will be connected to the internet to help traders reach more customers online.
Soko ya leo, tumefunguliwa soko leo. Tumekuwa na mambo mingi ilikuwa natusumbua. Mara mvua inanyesha, mara saa nyingine jua imekuwa mingi, vitu zinaharibika.
Naona customer atakuwa wengi kuliko mahali tulikuwa mbeleni.
Sisi tunataka watu waingie soko kwa sababu hii soko inafaa isaidie wananchi. Lakini ikikiwa wewe si mchuuzi wa soko ya Githurai, sahau na soko ya Githurai.
We are here today to do what we call the physical verification of the beneficiaries of this market. What we are doing is the dispute of some of the traders that were given the market are not either from Githurai or they are not from Embu. Others are minors. So basically it was to identify who are the beneficiaries of the market.
President Donald Trump is leading the U.S. presidential election by 266 college votes ahead of Kamala Harris, who has so far gathered 219. This means Trump requires 4 college votes to reach the required 270 to be declared the 47th president of the United States. He has already declared his victory in an address to his supporters in Florida. Kamala Harris has postponed her address.
Very much. Wow. U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump is boasting a lead in the presidential race ahead of Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris by 266 to 219 college votes.
Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond.
However, the race is yet to conclude, with 7 states yet to call their results.
We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and
this as Donald Trump declared victory in the election as he addressed jubilant supporters in Florida.
North Carolina, I love these places.
The Republicans picked up the battleground states of Pennsylvania, North Carolina and Georgia, leaving Kamala Harris with only a narrow path to victory.
Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. We are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes. But
a return to the White House would be an extraordinary comeback for Trump after he lost to Joe Biden in 2020. Kamala Harris' campaign said she won't speak today as dejected supporters left her watch party earlier.
But it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path. There was no other path to victory.
Republicans have also retaken control of the U.S. Senate after flipping Senate seats in West Virginia and Ohio. In the House of Representatives, Republicans so far are leading, though several races are still undecided. Giverson Minor, Lunchtime News.
Well, we shall be keeping you updated on that report. More than 100 families in Bukere Samia sub-county in Busia County are decrying bedbug infestation in their homes that is causing them sleepless nights. The affected families say the escalating infestation of the bedbugs has been a nightmare for the past 2 years. They were speaking during a fumigation exercise organized by Samia Women Achievers led by Merlin Apoyo, dubbed Angamiza Kangoni. Funyula Deputy County Commissioner Joyce Onguso hailed the initiative, calling on other well-wishers to join in the operation to restore normalcy and hygiene in the region.
Sasa unaona tumeadhiri malazi, tunajaribu kuchange malazi haziishi mpaka kwa nyumba ndani kwa ukuta ziko. Sasa naomba kama wanaweza tusaidia.
Ni janga ambalo liko hapa Samia, ambalo tunataka nguvu, na sisi peke yetu kama CBO hatuwezi. Tunataka msaada kutoka pale huku kila pahali wenye wanaweza kutusaidia, the well wishers, kujeni tusaidiane.
Tumeanza huku leo, tukiendelea mbele tukiangalia kuna maboma mengi sana ya mafamiwa na Kunguni pia na Chawa. Tutatembea boma mingi hapa ambayo tumesikia siku na hii shida, na kufanya ile yetu tunaweza kama wamama wa Samia.
Now let's talk business. Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has been urged to introduce innovative tax measures designed to boost government revenue while safeguarding Kenyans from financial strain. Speaking during an inspection of development projects in Mbeere North, Member of Parliament Jeffrey Ruku highlighted the urgency for a fresh approach to taxation as a means of addressing budgetary constraints without compromising public welfare.
Data pointed out that sustainable economic growth hinges on tax strategies that foster public support and confidence, noting that any effective tax policy must be seen as fair. He called for innovative tax solutions at a time when the government is navigating financial pressures while trying to maintain growth and social stability.
It is the responsibility of us all, members of National Assembly, and also those who are in executive, to be innovative, to come up with these ways so that we can help the government in raising enough resources to take care of these the needs of Kenyans. And to the needs of Kenyans, they need them to be accomplished now.
Residents in the area expressed cautious optimism, hoping the government will deliver on its development pledges without additional tax burdens.
Kwanza ile maendeleo ameleta hapa, tumeona sasa tumepatiwa barabara ya kuingia kwenda huko Kamumu.
This sentiment underscores the delicate balance required in fiscal policy making as the country looks to expand its revenue base in a sustainable and equitable manner.
Well, that report on sustainable tax policies brings us off our break here on Lunchtime News. Well, we have more reports coming up right after the break. Let's take the break.
Aya, I'm not Go TV Stream. It's free. Go TV Stream iko mkononi na ni free. Download Go TV Stream app for free. Enjoy live TV na shows kamia 8. Download and watch later anytime. Anywhere. Go TV Stream iko mkononi na ni free. A available to active subscribers. GoTV, love it.
Say bye-bye to FOMO, the fear of missing out, by downloading the KBC Online app that gives you access to everything you love. Get the latest news, sports, music, entertainment news, live TV, live radio, and so much more at the palm of your hands. To get the app, simply search KBC Mobile Digital app in your Google Play or App Store and download the app. Catch what you want, anytime, anywhere. Stay connected. Stay ahead with KBC Mobile Digital app.
Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. Kenyans should not expect tax relief anytime soon. Instead, they should prepare for more tax measures, according to Chief Economist and Government Advisor David Ndii. He explained that as long as Kenya remains under the International Monetary Fund program, implementing higher taxes is part of the agreement to ensure fiscal discipline and debt management. Speaking during the annual NCBA Bank Economic Outlook, Dr. Ndii further says Kenya's fiscal policy is shaped by the need to reduce its public debt and meet IMF benchmarks, which often means passing the burden to taxpayers. NCBA Bank projects the Kenyan economy will expand by 4.8% of GDP, driven by agricultural productivity due to favorable weather conditions and the services sector in 2024. However, the growth will remain flat in 2025, rather attributed to lower disposable income, increasing unpredictable tax environment, geopolitical tensions and high interest rates.
When you're in an IMF program, you are in the receivership. There's no relief. You're only going to get relief when you come out of receivership. When companies are in receivership, what do? They cut costs, they lay off people. A turnaround is costly and it is difficult. The question is, many countries don't do it. The reason why many countries have remained where they are and they are in cycles of macroeconomic crisis is because they don't bite the bullet. They take Panadol for their headaches and don't deal with whatever. An IMF program is just a palliative. What we want to do is the structural things that we are doing. And that's why we entitled this thing Navigating Turbulence. So we can't keep going back to the question, how much relief do we provide at this point in time? At this point in time, zero.
We now expect the overall GDP growth for this year to come in at 4.8%. We expect favorable weather so far witnessed to continue to spur agro-processing and agricultural export flows, with a positive impact on food inflation. We expect the service sector to remain resilient.
And now in our weekly segment, we shall be taking a look at magical scenes focusing on Amboseli National Park. Let's take a look.
The Amboseli National Park hosts the largest herd of elephants in Kenya. Amboseli holds the record of the world's longest elephant tusks. In fact, the Amboseli Elephant Research Project has been spearheading studies about the African elephant since its establishment in 1972 by the Amboseli Trust for Elephants. The elephants are usually in herds of up to 100 animals. Amboseli is home to other wildlife, including members of the Big Five, as well as other animals such as wild dogs, buffaloes, giraffes, zebras, crocodiles, mongoose, dik-dik, lesser kudu, and nocturnal porcupine.
Amboseli National Park is very beautiful because of the wildlife which is present within the park. Within the park, we have over 56 mammals which can be seen from time to time. And have all except one when we talk about the big five. We have the lions, we have the leopards, we have the cheetahs, we have the buffaloes, all can be seen in the park at any given time.
About Amboseli National Park is the scenic beauty. The blend of wildlife and vegetation is arguably worth your time and money. How about also waking up in the morning to a clear view of the highest mountain in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro? Amboseli offers the best views of Mount Kilimanjaro. A common saying in the area is that Mount Kilimanjaro is in Tanzania, but the beauty of the mountain can also be appreciated when viewed from Kenya. Those who have toured the area believe the most scenic views of Mount Kilimanjaro's snow-capped peak are accessed in Amboseli. The rocky hill in Amboseli is among the best-kept secrets.
So when you make it to this destination, you have an opportunity to see the Lake Amboseli, of course the hippos that comes with it, the flamingos, okay, and then the game as well. So it's the best actually park, yeah, for that is yet to be visited enough. We are lucky that at least we converted the Hemingway's house, and a house that Ernest Miller Hemingway's stayed in when he was actually in Kenya. And it's a location, again, that the Miller actually wrote his novel, or wrote his book, The Snows of Kilimanjaro.
We are working very closely with the communities in conservation and also in improving ecotourism. Because as we know, visitors visit Amboseli because of three main things. First of all, I've talked about wildlife. Secondly, because of culture. You know, the park is surrounded by the community, and these are the Maasai community, and the Maasai culture is still very intact.
Irene Mchuma Odim, Magical Sense in the county of Kajiado.
Well, thank you so much, Irene Muchuma Odim. Now, the much-awaited Manufacturing Amendment Bill heads to Parliament next week as the government moves to stimulate Kenya's industrial base. Secretary in the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, Professor Erastus Gatebe, says the bill to address barriers hindering the growth of the sector. Now, the government targets to expand the manufacturing base in Kenya from the current 8% of GDP to 15% by 2030.
Kenya's manufacturing sector faces a series of challenges, including an unpredictable tax regime, high operational costs, and a fragmented policy framework. With the sector contributing about 8% to the GDP annually, the government wants to increase the contribution to 20% by 2030. The government has been developing various policies aimed at streamlining the sector by addressing various bottlenecks affecting the sector. Secretary in the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry, Professor Erastus Gatebe, says these will be achieved through various reforms, with the government focusing on strategies to attract and de-risk local and foreign investments.
On Monday, we had public participation on the bill. It's already presented in Parliament. We look forward for it to be fast-tracked because the business reform bill, which most of you have contributed, is helping us to make it easier for any manufacturers or any business, from tax issues to what was mentioned earlier here, power issues, to be resolved.
The Manufacturing Amendment Bill 2024 seeks to rationalize incentives to promote manufacturing growth and enhance consumer protection and fair trade practices.
There are a lot of VAT refunds delay. We do understand the feedback that came from KRA in terms of verification of these refunds, but I would urge they establish an appropriate system that would vet those refunds.
Speakers attending the annual industrialization conference have further urged the government to initiate measures aimed at improving the performance of the export sector, reducing domestic trade costs and harmonized taxes within the sector.
Where our concerns is there are a lot of taxes that are imposed from different departments and ministries that are targeting industries, and these taxes are not sort of well coordinated, and they are also promptly and abruptly introduced, which disrupt how businesses plan.
Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Major indexes in Asia edged higher while the dollar rose against major currencies as investors positioned themselves for a Donald Trump victory. Benchmark stock indexes across Asia were mostly higher on Wednesday, while the US dollar was also up. The results of the election is expected to have a major impact on the global economy.
In Japan, the benchmark Nikkei 225 stock index was up by 2%, while Australia's ASX 200 was about 1% higher. In mainland China, the Shanghai Composite Index was flat, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng was down by around 2.5%. Futures trading on the major U.S. stock indexes were pointing sharply higher. That came after the Dow Jones Industrial Average, S&P 500 and Nasdaq all closed more than 1% higher. The world's largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, jumped to a record high. The US dollar was up more than 1% against a basket of other major currencies, including the euro, pound, and the Japanese yen. Meanwhile, Russia's services sector activity expanded slightly faster in October than in the previous month as output and new orders rose again, a business survey showed on Wednesday. The S&P Global Purchasing Managers Index for Russian services rose to 51.6 in October from 50.5 in September, moving further above the 50 mark that separates growth and contraction. The rise in business activity was supported by an increase in orders driven by improved demand conditions and new customer acquisitions, the survey showed. Finally, Boeing workers in the U.S. have voted to accept the aviation giant's latest pay offer, ending a damaging 7-week-long walkout. Under the new contract, they will get a 38% pay rise over the next 4 years. Striking workers can start returning to their jobs as early as Wednesday or as late as 12th November, the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers Union says. The walkout by around 30,000 Boeing workers started on 13 September, leading to a dramatic slowdown at the plane makers' factories and deepening a crisis at the company. Winslow Spamba for Lunchtime News.
And now we delve into the cabinet segment whereby we take a closer look at the political career of Frederick Gumo, a man who rose from being the mayor of Kitale to becoming a key player in Kenya's national politics. Now, let's take a look at that report. Frederick Gumo was born in 1945. He studied diploma in mechanical engineering at the Kenya Polytechnic and went on to acquire a higher diploma in the same field at Metropolitan College in London. In 1974, Gumo became the mayor of Kitale, Nzoia district, now Nzoia County, at the age of 27 and held the position for 6 years. He joined parliamentary politics in 1979, and despite being the new kid on the block, he defeated Masinde Muliro, a veteran politician, in polls that were riddled with claims of rigging. In 1984, the High Court overturned Gumo's victory over Muliro in the 1983 elections for Kitale East constituency, citing massively rigged. Gumo did not contest in the subsequent by-election. He tried to make a political comeback in Kwanza constituency in 1988, but failed, this time defeated by Noah Wekesa. In 1989, he was appointed the chairman of Nairobi City Commission, the first such appointment by the office of the president, as previous appointments were by the Minister for Local Government. Gumo shifted base from Nzoia to his original home Bunyala in the then Busia district, now Busia County, but he was defeated by James Osogo at the nominations. 4 years later, his luck came calling when he took a gamble and contested in the Westlands by-election in 1996 following the death of Member of Parliament Amin Walji. He garnered a paltry 1,200 votes, the lowest to be recorded in the multi-party era. In the 1997 general election, Gumo, running on a KANU ticket, defeated Betty Tet of the Democratic Party in the most controversial parliamentary poll that year. He ended up earning the distinction of being the only KANU member of parliament in the then opposition-dominated Nairobi region. During his heyday in politics, Gumo came to be associated with two Kiswahili phrases, Jeshi la Mzee and Kaa Gumu, which earned him mileage and admiration in a political environment where right connections triumphed over polished speeches and presentation. Jeshi la Mzee, or Mzee Daniel Arap Moi's army, was a ragtag militia Gumo commanded while Member of Parliament for Westlands constituency in Nairobi, which would do anything to protect Moi's and the Kenya African National Union's interest in the Kenya's capital. Kaa Gumu, relent not, became Gumo's slogan in his final years in politics. This feat caught President Moi's eye, and Gumo would be rewarded with appointments as assistant minister. From 2003 to 2007, Gumo was appointed assistant minister in the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, and later to that of Education. In 2008, he was appointed Minister for Regional Development Authorities by President Mwai Kibaki in the Government of National Unity. He steered the ministry until the end of Kibaki's tenure in 2013. The Ministry of Regional Development Authorities later became a directorate in the Ministry of East African Community and Regional Development. In June 2009, a new government bill was published requiring cabinet ministers to be degree holders. Gumo, who has a higher diploma in mechanical engineering from Metropolis College in London, was among ministers who were to be affected if the new proposal was effected. The bill never went through as the country awaited the new constitution that would provide for how the cabinet is constituted. This would have effectively locked Gumo out of the cabinet or forced him back to class to acquire the necessary academic qualification. Gumo never shied away from even the most controversial political issues of the day. In October 2008, he was among those who rejected the Waki report, going against the party leader Raila Odinga. Gumo was also involved in the contentious issues of the Mau Forest Complex evictions. He argued that conservation of Kenya's water catchment areas should spread beyond the Mau to areas such as Masinga and Kiambere dams, where encroachment was threatening the country's power supply. In 2013, after serving in the Government of National Unity as Cabinet Minister and Member of Parliament for Westlands, Gumo exited the political scene, satisfied that he had done what he could during his political life. Jackie Wambiru, the Cabinet. And in the sports arena, the national 15-a-side rugby team Kenya Simbas is out to reclaim their title, and they face the Ugandan Cranes this weekend in the first leg of the Elgon Cup tournament at RFUEA grounds, Nairobi. The team has been in a residential camp in Kakamega preparing for this fixture. The first leg, which was earlier scheduled for the 2nd of November, was moved to the 9th following a consultative meeting between the Kenya Rugby Union and the Uganda Rugby Union. The second leg will be held on the 16th of November in Kampala, Uganda. The Kenya Simbas lost to the Uganda Cranes in Kampala last year but managed to run away with a victory in the second leg in Kisumu. Head coach Jerome Parrotter has retained the training squad that was active during the preparation for the Rugby Africa Cup. Plans are at an advanced stage to accord former football legend, the late Austin Oduor a befitting send-off. While leading a fundraising on Tuesday in Nairobi, Deputy Chief of Staff in the Executive Office of the President, Eliud Owalo, confirmed the former Gor Mahia FC and Harambee Stars defender will be buried Saturday, November 9th in Makunga Village, Navaholo, Kakamega County. Owalo extolled Austin as a committed and disciplined player whose values should be emulated by the upcoming players. The former defender, who passed on aged 65, joined Gor Mahia from Umeme Sportif in 1980 and was part of the Gor Mahia squad that won 3 league titles on the trot between 1983 to 1985. Oduor's biggest achievement was he captained Gor Mahia to the Africa Cup, Winners' Cup, Mandela Cup in 1987, beating Tunisia's Esperance de Tunis at Mo International Sports Centre, Kasarani. He went on to captain the national soccer team Harambee Stars between 1988 to 1990 and helped the team qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations 3 editions consecutively, 1988, 1990 and 1992.
Get somebody in old age who is as disciplined as Austin. A good player, but also extremely disciplined. I watched Austin play. He was an extremely disciplined player. They are equally good players. I was telling some people over the weekend that we have got extremely good players like Bob, but also equally indisciplined. So
and another gentleman called Agwesh could not let us, the younger players, to be bullied by our seniors. It's Austin and Agwesh who came to protect us or to our defense, and they allowed us to play in the small field where now we play handball, where handball is played.
Defending champions Real Madrid suffered another home defeat when AC Milan beat them 3-1 at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in the UEFA Champions League matches, as Pep Guardiola's side Manchester City were subjected to another successive defeat by Sporting Lisbon, who thrashed them 4-1 thanks to a Victor Gyökeres hat-trick. Now Liverpool stand by Leverkusen 4-0 courtesy of another hat-trick by Luis Diaz as they maintain their unbeaten run.
Christian Pulisic with the corner kick and a goal. Look at it, of course they're going to look at it because there was 2 men there. Get 1-1 and they do. The back. Oh, too casual, and Foden, and it's 3 defeats in a row. The numbers at the top down before scoring his second of the.
World's #1 Arina Sabalenka will face Elena Rybakina in the semi-finals of WTA Finals after she overcame Jasmine Paolini in straight sets of 6-3 and 7-5 to win the purple group. America's Coco Gauff sealed her last 4 place after she upset the defending champion Iga Swiatek in straight sets of 6-3 and 6-4 to record 2 straight wins in the orange group.
Serves. Just inside the top 10 for a 3rd straight year. And Coco Gauff begins what she hopes is a new path of history against Iga Swiatek. Forget the previous 12. She's got a win in Riyadh and remains perfect at the WTA Finals, toppling the world.
Well, that brings us to a close here at Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for choosing Lunchtime News. For more news, check out our website at kbc.co.ke. Our sign language interpreter is Lucy Mora. My name is Wambiru. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.